How you doing today? EMS Automotive Products, manufacture sheet metal for your old Fords and Chevys 35 to 58. Today on this video, we're going to be talking about our 1937 to 40 Ford tail pans in this section, and then we'll go to some of the other pieces here. First one we're going to start with is 1937. This is for the flatback or slantback sedans. It doesn't make a difference whether it's a 2 or a 4-door. It fits them both. Goes completely from one fender to the other fender. Has your body lines and your Weatherstrip channel. That's very important. It's very hard to stamp unless you have the expensive tooling and production capabilities that EMS Automotive has. This is made in the United States. This is made of heavy 18 gauge steel. Okay, notice that it's silver. It's not black like those imported panels that are tissue paper thin. Okay, as I said, we got the Fender Flanges over here. It rolls underneath like it's supposed to. Has the Weatherstrip channel. If you need, we've taken the bumper slots out. If you want the bumper slots, you cut a little hole in there, and you can run it. So this way you can run bumpers or street rod look, whichever is so popular. Also, we have the most popular panel we have is a 1937-38 Ford Coupe. This will fit all 1937 coupes, all 1938 coupes, whether it's a standard or a deluxe. Here again, hard to form Weatherstrip channel, correct body lines. We have the curve that goes side to side, fender to fender. We also have the curves that go up and down. So all the curves are just like the original, made from our own tooling in the U.S. We have the Fender Flanges over here. We have them opened up a little bit so you can fit it on there. You'll just tap it over with the hammer when you're done and lock it in place. This way, with that open a little bit, you can adjust it and get it to fit. Remember, when you put this panel in, have the trunk lid on the car, so when it comes down, you get that right groove on the inside so it fits up perfect. That's what looks cool at the show when you're showing that car off. Make sure you got the great body gaps correct, which is about 1/8 of an inch. That's it. Now the third panel we have for 1937 and 38 is the hump. And the humpback had the bigger trunk. Humpback came as a standard of deluxe in 1938. We have the Weatherstrip channel. This is an unusual in that the original seams are at the center line of the bumper slot, which we have formed in here. Because of the humpback was a unique car, the quarter panel rolled around to this point. So the quarter panel would roll around a little bit and meet up with this factory seam. Here again, it rolls underneath, 18 gauge steel. Now for 1938, this will fit the 1938 standard cars. All 38 standards 2 and 4-door use what we call the humpback tail pan. Okay, behind the tail pan, we have an inner panel, which is often, some people call it a toolbox compartment. Some people call it a trunk floor extension, but it sits directly, and we're sitting on top of another one. This panel sits directly behind the tail pan, and I'll bring up the number 5 tail pan here. It sits together like this, and you notice you guys put the tools in the trunk and they always end up down in the bottom because of the start and stopping. That's how it got to be called the toolbox compartment, I guess. Here again, it's double layered down at the bottom, so if your outer panel is rusted, there's a good chance your toolbox compartment is also rusted. Here again, 18 gauge steel, made in the USA. All the correct curves and forms. Can't make that at home, but we can in our big machinery. Okay, after that, we're working on, in 38 was a transition year. We have, for the 38 Deluxe 2 and 4-door sedans, this is the correct panel. Here again, it had a bigger trunk, a totally different back. This will actually go from 38 Deluxe, all 1939 standard and deluxes, all 1940 standard and deluxe 2 and 4-door sedans. Made of 18 gauge steel, made in the U.S. Weatherstrip channel, the silver color, tells you it's made by EMS. All parts Made by EMS will have our logo and part number on it. So if you get one that has that cheap black, Chinese E-code on there, you know you got an imitation panel. We got the flanges on the side. Here again, the holes around, touches over here, and the bumper slots over there in the quarter panel. On the 38 Deluxe, 39 and 40 Ford sedans. It has a similar tail pan, often rusts out. Okay. The next one is the 3940 Ford Coupe, probably one of the most popular street rods out there. We make the tail panel for that car. 18 gauge steel, made in the USA. No Chinese black paint on this. Okay, Weatherstrip Channel. All the correct curves. Has the dish, has the curve this way, has the curve this way. Notice in here, notice the curves. All formed the way it's supposed to be. Don't believe the rumors that it's not it's formed right exactly. Has the fender flanges on the side, has the roll under. Okay, now this one doesn't have bumper slots. A lot of guys like the street rod look, but the bumper slots are popular for a lot of guys. They like them. I like bumpers myself because you never know who's going to tap you. We make it in two versions, no slots and the bumper slots. Here again, made in the USA, all the correct curves, correct bumper slot, stamped into it. It's done. It's made here. We like it. We make it in our own machinery. Now, some of you like to follow some of us on Facebook and Instagram. We have an address for both where you can send us your pictures, your comments. Do you need stuff? We'd love to talk to you. And for the guys that aren't computer literate, you want a paper catalog? We have it. The EMS body book has all of our parts in there, rocker panels, floor pans for all cars, Chevrolet 1935 to 54, and Ford 1935 to 58. We're always adding stuff, so you never know. Give us a call. Okay, now we're going to start talking about some other things for the 37 to 40 Fords. We went through the tail pans earlier in the show. We have the rocker panel. Rocker panel goes from doorpost to doorpost. For this, we have an extension that goes from the rear doorpost to the back fender. I didn't bring that with me today. Here again, 18 gauge, stamped offsets, has the curves. Great part, made in the USA. One of the other things that we have is we have door bottoms for the 37 to 40s also. And it's a common part. The door bottoms will work on all your 37 to 40 Fords. We have long and short. Long is for your two-door sedans, and in some cases your long club coupes. And then we have the short door for your business coupe, and that's the same one to be used on the front door of a four-door sedan. Door bottom kit consists of outer skin, which is 20 gauge steel, just like they made back then, with all the curves, all the shape to it. Has the curves this way. We also have the flanges on the back side so they can be flanged over correctly. Included in the door bottom kit is your inner structure. Your inner structure is 18 gauge steel. Has your spot weld flanges. There again, you're going to hem that over and get that seam on there. Has the steps for the door on the weather strip. Has your hinge pocket up front. Nice kit. This is 18 gauge, heavy duty, just like it's supposed to be. Now, in front of the door, we have the lower front cowl. There's two different types of lower front cowls in 37 to 40. We have the 37. This will fit all 37 cars. This is the firewall would be over here. Your front fender bolts along over here. And we have your A-pillar or your doorpost with your hinge and your stampings there. This is going to fit all 1937s. All 1938 cars, and your 39 standards. We'll be using this part. This is part number 147. 18 gauge steel, made in the USA in our own tooling, in our own plant. 38 Deluxe or your 39 Deluxe to 1940 cars. You have this part number 165. Here again, this is your lower front cowl. This is your firewall over here, spot weld flange over here. You got your doorpost, your hinge pocket, all the shapes and curves. This is the flange where your fender bolts to. You'll be drilling the holes for your particular fender for your year. Has the flanges underneath. All high-formed, heavy 18 gauge steel. And when you slip it up the lower patch, notice how we offset it so you can slide it up inside and use your Cleco clamps or spot welds, and you'll have a nice tight fit over there. Okay, and the lower front cowl is in front of the front door. Behind the front door, or behind the door, we would have the rear quarter panel. Rear quarter panel, this happens to be for the sedans, 1937 to 1940 two-door sedans. Has your steps, has your rubber grommet, rolls underneath, has all your bead knives, sharp corners, your fender flanges over here. 18 gauge steel, made in the U.S. with our own tooling and our own plants. Here again, none of that black, super thin Chinese tissue paper steel. All heavy gauge. For the coupes, we have a slightly longer version since they have a shorter door. Same thing. You get your steps for your door seals. We got it offsetted. Some guys like to butt weld it. Cut it off with your zip grinder. Here again, all your features. It has all your curves this way and this way. All directions. Has your fender flange. Made in the USA. Notice, none of that black Chinese cheap steel. Okay, this is the end of our 37 Ford section. If you need a catalog, we got paper catalogs sent out free. Just call 216-541-4585. If you're not here, there's an answering machine. Leave your name and address, we'll send you something. EMS.com if you want to go online and do all that fancy stuff. And then we have Facebook and Instagram for all you guys like to do the smartphone. And also you'll find on our website we have apps to download onto your phone so you can keep the information right on your smartphone.